Welcome po sa Apec Philippine Media Press Conference. Kasama natin ngayon si Secretary Mon Lopez ng DTI at bibigyan po tayo ni Sec Mon ng kanyang rundown po sa mga nangyari nung nakarang dalawang araw. I believe, nauna ka, no?
Nauna kami ni Secretary Yasay dahil nung Thursday, Friday, yun yung tinatawag na APEC Ministerial Meeting. So, all ministers of foreign affairs and trade and industry had that conference on Thursday, Friday. So, this is what they call AMM that will lead to the leaders meeting this weekend, Saturday, Sunday. So,
alamin natin kay Secretary Mon kung ano yung mga napag-usapan pagdating sa trade and industry, pagdating sa kalakalan, at kung sino yung mga nakausap ni Secretary Mon Lopez in the past few days.
Okay, thank you, Sec Martin. Yung ulat natin sa bayan, nagkaroon talaga ng conference itong APEC. APEC is a conference of 21 economies at ibig sabihin nun, itong grupo na to, nag-uusap-usap ito every year, more than once a year pa ito, and really talking about how we can really promote prosperity in the region. Promoting prosperity would mean encouraging flow of trade, of goods, services, economic cooperation, promotion of yung mga recent discussion on micro SMEs dahil yun po yung tinutulak din ng Pilipinas. Economic cooperation when it comes to yung exchange of experts, technical experts that will help each other, reduction in mga non-trade barriers, at saka mga non-tariff measures para mas mapaganda yung flow of goods and services. So, meron ding pinag-uusapan on human capital development. Welcome muna natin.
Welcome muna natin si Secretary Jun Esperon.
Dito, Sec Jun. Dito, Sec Jun.
Thank you, Phil.
Yeah. So, tuloy ko lang. Nasaan na ba ako? Yung human capital, no? So, yung human capital naman, ibig sabihin, tulungan yon in terms of promoting yung education, mga training, skills transfer, at of course, in our case, ito maganda, in the conference naman nila President Duterte with the other leaders yesterday, President Duterte really proposed yung what we have been doing in the Philippines, and if there can be more cooperation in the APEC region with respect to, of course, magkaroon ng tulungan sa poverty alleviation. In our case, and of course Philippines case, we've been talking about helping the bottom of the pyramid. When it comes to in our country, that means yung mga micro, small, tulungan, micro, small, medium enterprises. So pagdating doon, yung the power of mga training, mindset change, power of empowering the bottom of the pyramid, so that we believe in empowering the bottom of the pyramid, we empower the nation. And kasama dyan yung training, mentoring, access to capital, access to market. And when we talk of access to market, yung pag-promote ng mga digital technology, e-commerce, sa mga micro SMEs, it is recognized as a way to really improve yung access to market, especially by the micro SME. Because as we all believe, technology is a great equalizer. Hindi ka kailangan magkaroon ng pwesto sa isang commercial center para makabenta ka. And MSMEs, marami nang gumagawa na through social media, nakakapag talagang benta sila, marami nang lumaking negosyo dyan. And that's being supported by APEC in general. And to support naman the micro SMEs, of course, we're talking also of having infrastructure, the right infrastructure development. And of course, we all know the President would always prioritize infrastructure on day one, hitting the ground running when it comes to infrastructure development. Ang dami na in-approve recently ng the NEDA board. In just a few weeks, nakadalawang meeting na ang NEDA board approving several infrastructure projects. That will really facilitate, again, yung operations, lower the cost of production in our country, and also yung connectivity sa and logistics pag export ng mga produkto. So when we talk of yung micro SME, we're talking of the digital using internet and e-commerce, and at the same time yung infrastructure that will deliver the goods and services. And then of course yung lowering the cost of operation pag nandiyan na yung infrastructure, ports, airports, seaports, farm-to-market roads, all those infrastructure. And we all know that yung infrastructure budget natin has been increased from 3% to 5% of GDP. So it's a big support immediately, right from the start of the administration. So that's the big help. So after MSME infrastructure, we covered again the human development, human capital. And then in human capital, the President highlighted the basic needs. If we want to really bring back dignity to the Filipino people, we make sure that there is food, they are fed, di ba? Nakakain ka na ba? Ano ba? Are you healthy? Ano, no? Oh, are you healthy? You know, yung preventive healthcare system, and then the healthcare system. Make sure are you safe? No. That's why yung Peace and Order campaign ni President Duterte, it's really known worldwide. Yung war against drugs, bringing down criminality, as well as corruption that encourages flow of investment. Kasi si President mismo is always reiterating na if you're an investor, I'll be the one to protect your investment. No? Parang ginagaranti niya na if you encounter any corruption, talk to me and I will talk to those guilty. No? Yun ang promise niya sa lahat ng investor. So he's one that's really promoting investment. So tatlong aspects sa human capital, and the last aspect of course is education. No? So making sure na yung education system natin at saka yung we have a population that's empowered, that's educated, because yung health, education, yan yung mga importanteng aspect na human development, so that we will have a sustainable development long term. No? You'll have an educated manpower backing your trade and industry development and agriculture development. So yun lang.
Sekmon, bago natin usapin si Esperon, pagdating sa Ireland security, transnational crimes, ikwento natin sa media kung ano yung mga napag-usapan dun sa bilateral ng China at ng Russia pagdating sa trade and industry at export and import bilateral relations.
Okay. Yeah. Thanks, Sec. No, Thursday, Friday, at the Trade and Industry Secretary level, we've had several bilaterals muna. No? Kwento ko muna yung we've had bilaterals with Chile, with Hong Kong, with I forgot the others. So basta meron mga bilaterals, 3 or 4 or 5 bilaterals. Then with the President naman, yesterday we had bilaterals with China and Russia. Ang bottom line doon, of course on the China, we all remember that we had that recent state visit. That state visit talagang malaking nagawang improvement sa relationship natin with China. I guess on a personal level as well as an official level na nagkalapit talaga ang ating dalawang leaders between Philippines and China. With that renewed friendship, it really opened up a lot of opportunities. Now we're talking of economic cooperation na dati hindi masyadong pinag-uusapan. For example, sa trade lang. As we reported last time and ngayon, parang nagkwento si President Xi Jinping that immediately after that visit, he commissioned a team that will see through the follow-through, yung implementation of all those discussed in the state visit. For example, in buying more fruits from us. So I took note of a report sent to me the other day na meron ng Chinese delegation that went to the country, closed a transaction that committed to buy $100 million worth of fruits from the Philippines, primarily mga banana to. That's about 100,000 tons. And if for perspective, isang transaction pa lang yon. As far as I remember, our banana exports to China is about 700,000 tons a year. So, ang laking percentage kaagad ito just for one transaction. Of course, the follow-through when it comes to the president of China reiterated the financing facility made available for the Philippines. So I think it will be through Exim Bank. Not to mention that there is also the $3 billion facility from Bank of China for mga industrial and infrastructure projects. So trade, and of course the other infrastructure projects that we can start studying and also hopefully implementing in general, no? So kasi when you say infrastructure, it covers a lot, as we reported last time: transportation, even railways, and aside from private business to private business discussions, joint ventures. Cultural exchange, pinapalakas pa ngayon, exchange of experts, technical cooperation. So it was reiterated. Ang maganda, and also I think October 20 they lifted out the travel advisory. So sabi ni President Xi Jinping to expect a lot of tourists. There will be a sharp rise in tourists. And we reported to you last time from 500,000 typical number of Chinese tourists. It can easily double. So we have to be prepared with the infrastructure, mga hotels, para ma-absorb natin yung tourists. Because China sends out about 100 million tourists a year. So, konti pa lang yung napupunta sa atin and tayo yung malapit na kapitbahay. So, yun yung mga napag-usapan so far. On Russia naman, again, it's our first time to have that bilateral meeting. Very good rapport again, immediately with President Putin. And we can only look up. I mean, nowhere to go but up, because it's really a relationship that offers a lot of opportunities dahil halos walang nangyayari before when it comes to trade and investment with Russia. Russia, of course, commits to, sabi nila, I think from several $1 million imports from the Philippines. They're saying immediately, I think on fruits and other products, they can easily bring up, though they project to bring up imports from the Philippines to the tune of about $2.5 billion. So ano kaagad yung na-estimate nila. $2.5 billion. That's a number they quoted na 80 ba sinabi? 80, no? Basta less than that, $80 million. Oo, basta less than $100 million. So laking kinocommit agad. Not to mention, they commit to help in mga energy infrastructure, energy and infrastructure, tingnan ko lang yung iba pang item. Machine, engineering, hardware, modernizing mga industrial machineries, railways, lalo na yung mga long-range railways, port infrastructure, mga monorails, mga light transit, transport system, agriculture, of course, tourism. You can expect more Russian tourists, and yung cultural development. They look, of course, the other side of this is yung commitment nila to work with us on mga counter-terrorism, counter-drugs, law enforcement, education, finance, and I'll leave that to Secretary June naman.
Okay, lipat ko lang yung mic, ha?
Sorry.
President Philippine. Well, if you trace the history of those visits, it would be 1976 when we established diplomatic ties, almost at the same time with China. Wala pa kayo noon, eh. Ano pa kayo noon? Mga you were about to be born. I don't think there has been, but there had been, the leaders have talked during Apec.
State visit, sir, ng Philippine President to Russia.
Yeah, I was with the 97 visit of the FBR.
This kind of state, 97.
Yeah.
Dr. Ramos, no?
GMA.
Jimmy State President.
Then I'm not aware of. No, I don't think there was. Oh well, we are in Apec, so we would most likely be talking about trade and economics here. Diba? But remember that there should be an environment that we should maintain or strive to put up to be the twin of all economic developments. It works both ways. Kung wala kang economics at saka trade, at walang security environment, hindi maganda. Yung security naman, na-i-enhance ng economics at saka trade. Di ba? Works both ways. So, but I think from my own side here, and we have been discussing this, APEC is an opportune time to simply put into work your instruments of national power. You're talking about diplomacy, information operations. Kailangang iulat din natin ang ating ginagawa at kung saan dapat makarating, di ba? Then economics is one of the instruments. Then military, legal, intelligence, finance. You can also consider geography as well as your population. Yun mga instruments natin. They are all into play now. Supporting economics and at the same time supporting the overall national security. So, ganun lang naman interplay. Now, let's go to the nauna ang China. And I would characterize the bilateral as a follow-through of, a big follow-through of the big state visit. Remember that we had more than 20 agreements, both commercial and government to government in Beijing. And now, there is now a follow-through of all this. On the economic side, only last week, the National Development Reform Council of China visited us and met with our economic team, led by, among others, Secretary Dominguez, sa trade, to follow through on the agreements in China. On the security side, we again talked yesterday, the two leaders clearly talked about maritime arrangements because that's one of the committees that was agreed upon in Beijing. The implication and the effect of this is that there will be more Coast Guard to Coast Guard relations in areas like Scarborough, and of course in other areas of the South China Sea, West Philippine Sea. If you do that, more of Coast Guard, that means
that simply means that there is a degree of demilitarization in the area. Demilitarization. Because Coast Guard is civilian. We call that the white ships going there compared to gray ships going to Scarborough. But what is very clear now is there is an appreciated, there is a expression of appreciation from the President of his satisfaction in knowing that our fishermen can fish in Scarborough as is naturally done or traditionally done. While we may at this time set aside the negotiations or the issue on territorial ownership of Scarborough, because Scarborough is entitled to 12 nautical miles as per tribunal ruling. We do not set that aside, but we consciously think of it. However, we go into more productive activities like fishing and more maritime cooperation. And on land, yung sinasabi ni Secretary Mon Lopez, yung ating mga trade and commerce relations. Yes, Ms. Linda.
The last time that the fishermen were able to go to Scarborough, talagang nakapag-fishing sila no, sa area was a big catch. But at the same time, they also said that the Chinese ships are still guarding parang entrance of Scarborough and they cannot go in. So was there any discussion yesterday about either pulling out the ships or allowing the fishermen to go inside?
It is our position not to have fishing activities inside the triangle. Parang triangle kasi yung Scarborough. At the bottom, dito sa kanan na leg, dito sa corner, right corner, is the opening. Correct. There are 2 Coast Guard ships there of the Navy, of the Chinese Coast Guard. But that is also our position to make that as a sanctuary. And in fact, if I may tell you now, we are coming out, the President has decided to declare that as a sanctuary. That is a unilateral action from government. That means, so what is happening now? I think we had reporters from ABS, GMA, 5, ano pa mga channel? Oh, everybody. You had you had the people there. Sige, kayo na lahat. Lahat na kayo. Hindi, parang na-report kayo lahat nandun. But the observation, as we would now confirm, is that kung ganito yung Scarborough, may dalawa dito sa opening na Coast Guard, yung lahat ng fishermen nandito sa labas ng triangle. That is the desired arrangement.
Including the Chinese.
Oh yes.
Are the Chinese inside the fishermen?
No fishing there. No fishing there. In fact, as far as I know, there had even been seasons when they would close season. To us, that's good. But what is important now is we are coming up with an instrument in the form of a marine protected area declaration. That's no. But the harvest, but the catch just outside is actually good.
Yung fish naman umaandar.
Kung dito ka sa loob, ang nahuhuli mo doon maliliit pa.
Wala silang nakitang triangle.
Spawning ground dyan spawning ground. Imagine an area that is almost as big as Quezon City. Yun ang iyong spawning area. Nasa loob.
At saka yung ating Coast Guard, parang more of alagaan yung mga fishermen.
Of fishermen.
Parang ganun lang.
So walang confrontation, but we are there to take care of our fishermen. Even our fishery ship is there. So wala na ring PLA Navy doon.
Paano pa ba may masamang panahon kasi ginagawang kumpiyan yun, di ba?
That becomes an alley, a shelter. It becomes a shelter. Allowed yun sa, kaya maganda ang maritime, ang Coast Guard na nandun because we take care of safety of life at sea. Ganon ang mga ini-implement dyan.
So, pumayag ba in China? Did the President inform President Xi about the
He said-
relation to the
He said about it, and whether there was a response or not, that there was already...
sinabi na
Hindi, ang malinaw, sinabi niya na kaya kung magpapadala ng ships tayo, it's really to take care of the fishermen.
Yes.
It's not,
Oh yes, the Coast Guard had been going there.
Merong
They had
bagyo.
been, they report to us. Sa ngayon, I think there's at least one Coast Guard ship there. So,
no military.
I-declare the sanctuary.
alam mo, ito mga agreement that is not part of an agreement. Di ba? We're working on that. Very oriental. I mean, whatever you want to call it, but whatever you want to call it, what you see is what you get. I mean, we used to be shooed away. Wait, what do you mean? Well, remember, China even sent some technicians already to Zambales to talk to the fishermen. Yung sa
Kasasabi pa lang.
kasasabi pa lang eh. Yung at saka yung hindi ko naintindihan yung sinabi. I mean. There was simultaneous translation, di ba?
I thought
Confidence building muna.
Let me go back to my notes, but
sasabihin ko yung may feedback si,
uh,
but not on this, in general feedback.
Ah.
Maganda si President Xi Jinping. In general, ito sabi niya, din-raise niya si...
Personally lang, sir. Microphone.
Hindi, maikli lang daw.
Lagyan na lang sa gitna. Okay na siguro
sige.
yan, no? Makakuha na?
kuha na.
Makakuha na yan.
Maybe just to set yung tone din nung discussion na sa umpisa pa lang sinabi ni President Xi Jinping, diba, pinraise niya si President Duterte for ito quote-unquote leadership, patriotism, humility, love, and sincerity to the Filipino people. He's viewed as a principled man, sabi ni President Xi. And then sabi niya, President Duterte does what he says. So, yung kung titingnan mo yung mga ganong views ng isang leader to another leader, you can see the element of trust there. And confidence, and lagay yung loob niya. So parang magkaano na sila, sa respect. Sa mga bilaterals, wala.
On which
Wala
we have
ganun.
several committees. From the joint statement of the China visit, you go back to the website of DFN, you will see there the joint statement. Nandun lahat eh. And the general idea now is to simply follow through on those agreements. Kaya nagkakaroon na yung National Development Reform Council nila. Pumunta na sa atin. That's the highest development planning.
At saka, no, they were told that NDRC from China, yun yung point person or council nila. Sa atin naman, ang equivalent, we appointed also yung NEDA board na Investment Coordinating Committee, ICC. Parang ito naman yung ating screening committee of all the projects that we will do with China, and also the process, to look through the process. Remember, we were talking about some of the proposals, study stage, exploratory, and then pag found feasible, i-open up for yung mga proposals na and bidding. So yun yung mag-see through that process sa ICC. No, there are these parang siguro in
There will
general.
come a time.
Yung,
There will come a
yung
time.
mga general shall we say relationship, ano naman yan, informal naman talaga yan eh. But when you go to the actual transactions, yun na yung may mga agreement.
Hindi pinayagan. Because we are not asking them to allow us. Dapat maliwanag sa atin yun, ha?
Remember, ano
We are not asking them to allow us. We are out of sheer courage ng fishermen natin at saka dire need to go into economic activities, nakapangisda sila doon. At di na sila tinataboy. So, bakit nagkaroon ng ganon? And it came after the visit. So, sasabihin ba natin effect yun ng ano?
Sir, for clarification.
But we were not allowed. Kasi lagi kaming binabato pag we were allowed to fish. No, we were not allowed to fish. We went fishing. We went fishing.
Kasi ano pa yun eh, yung contentious issue
Ano
na
yun
yun
eh?
na we're just putting aside.
That's a
kasi nga,
traditional fishing ground. Kasi
Hindi tayo, hindi pinag-uusapan yan.
Yung unilateral declaration, sir, inabot niya kasi.
sinabi niya.
Sinabi niya nga eh, na,
Sinabi niya.
na we will declare it.
But you know,
mag-EO siya.
You imagine this.
declare
Ano?
sanctuary.
The bilateral is scheduled for 30 minutes.
Tumaba.
Tapos meron siyang prepared statement. May prepared statement dito. Within that 30 minutes, hindi mo masagot one to one, di ba? Di ba?
Nag-usap na.
Nakipag-date ka na ba? Lately? Yung iniisip kang ganun. Ay, nakipag-date. Di ba? Mayroon kang iniisip na sasabihin, pero hindi niya masasagot lahat. Kaya kung minsan, hindi niya ako nasagot. Di ba, Rose? Parang ganun lang yun. Tapos, kaibigan ko kasi si Rose, kaya parang kayo din. At saka, ano lang naman ito, remember na sa relations natin sa China, the sum total is not Scarborough. Mas marami pa tayong pinag-uusapan eh. Kaya meron tayong Joint Committee on Trade,
And we decided
Joint Committee
to
on Maritime
focus.
Issues,
In fact,
Joint Committee on, anim yata yung committee na, and we will have also a Joint Committee on the South China Sea.
In fact, sabi nga ni President Xi Jinping, and he really emphasized that we are off to a very, very good start. And because of that, the Chinese president invited us invited the president to attend 2 major events next year.
Correct,
Second
correct.
one.
Oo. So,
Yeah.
meron so dahil nga sa magandang relationship and inulit niya yung invitation to attend parang sinabi BRICS dialogue in September in China next year as an ASEAN chair kasi ang Philippines. Isa pa yung Belt and Road Forum nila on May 2017 din, Belt and Road. So ito naman yung mga economies na along that Belt and Road strategy ng China.
Mga sector, yung regarding dun sa dun sa declaration, at least they are not prevented from
Tulad nga ng sinabi ko, but
Kaya yun eh.
actually doon tayo nagkakaroon ng congruence ng gusto rin doon eh. Kung ayaw nila magpa-fishing doon, tayo din naman ayaw natin magpa-fishing. So it will come out naturally. I mean.
Is the president coming up with
Yes. Yes.
Soon.
Wag niyo
Kasi,
naman
kasi nabanggit niya na eh.
No, I'll tell you that in
Sinabi, inulit
the
niya yun.
security cluster we will meet next week and submit the papers. Actually, ang marine protected area, which is an implementation also of the provisions of the NIPAS law, diba? Doing, alam mo kasi sa strategy, meron yung envelopment, sidestepping, meron yung frontal attack, di ba? Meron yung, mahal mo ba ako? Ganun ka agad eh, di ba? Sabay lang lingon sa iba.
Describe our dealings with China. Sir,
Oo nga, no?
sir, how would you describe yung ganyan strategy?
Very, I must say, very effective.
Positive.
Very effective rather than, ang mangyayari kasi pag ginawa mong win ako, lose ka. Di ba?
Wala.
Walang mangyayari doon. Kailangan lumalabas yung mga outcomes na win-win. Kung sa Ilocano pa, win-win.
Sir, yung magiging EO on declaration din sa sanctuary in Scarborough, anong pwede ba namin yung interpret as preemptive move para din sa
Wag.
implementation ng PCA?
Huwag kasi medyo ano yung preemptive eh. Kasi para mong iniisahan yung isa.
Ito yung verbatim na sinagot ni President Xi Jinping. After nabanggit
Chinese.
ni...
In Chinese mo
Galing
raw
sa
sabihin.
Chinese mo yan sasabihin.
Galing
English.
sa cellphone, galing sa cellphone.
Galing dun sa interpretation. Easy. Wag ka
Easy.
naman. Sabi niya, we will mobilize government forces to promote our agreements, step up guidance to create favorable environment. Yun ang sinabi niya. Pagkatapos mabanggit ni Presidente Duterte yung kanyang unilateral declaration na gawing marine sanctuary.
Yung sinabi ni President, issue executive order.
Executive order. Oh, that's exactly yung
They
punta
did.
sa Zambales at saka Pangasinan. Yun na yun.
Meron pa yun.
They want to see,
Hindi naman minsanan.
pero ano lang yun, that's part of the agriculture. Remember that we have a committee on agriculture also. That's part of it. So makita mo, sinabi, mobilize government machinery to follow through on the
Bilis
agreement.
nga nila.
Ito, mabilis. Nagulat nga ako. Parang tingin ko, uy, may nakapasok pa. Pero hindi na ganun ang iniisip ko eh. Hindi na,
Training na eh. Yeah.
iba na ang tingin eh. Ha? Then nagpaalam sila sa ibang agency, arrange pa nga yun.
Hindi mabilis talaga. They want the agreements implemented.
Mutually exploratory, but in the name of cooperation and piskarya.
Ano? Fiscal yun.
Ayun na.
Sir, balik tayo sa Russia.
Nasa Peru tayo eh, siyempre.
Sir, sa Russia.
Ayungin is what, matagal lang hindi hinaharang yun. Matagal na.
Wala nang harangan.
Sir, sa Russia naman tayo.
But I will tell you that we will also in advance na baka i-declare din natin marine protected area yung mga banda na yun.
Parang magkakaroon ba siya ng later, kasi di ba meron tayong pang-ban, pang-season.
Oo.
Doon ba sa Scarborough meron din ganun pinaplano?
We will leave that to fisheries kasi hindi natin alam yung season.
Hindi, kasi maritime sanctuary nga. So meron siyang lugar na kasing laki ng QC na hindi pwede mangisda. So you would just imagine the fish will triple the number of fish.
Sila doon.
Tapos yung kanilang yung mga coral reefs, di ba? Alam naman natin wala naman passport yung mga isda. So pag dumami yan,
Wala silang nakikitang triangle doon eh. Tuloy-tuloy lang sila doon.
tuloy-tuloy yan.
Sir, Russia naman.
Ay, salamat po.
Yung in-declare ng Pilipinas.
Anong plano ng government
Ayun.
unilaterally?
Matagal pang usapan yan. But if you will look at the South China Sea, nandyan ang Paracels and Spratly Group, di ba? Yung Paracels, wala tayo doon. Vietnam at saka nandun. But nandyan ang Woody Island, which is an Air Force base right now. Dito naman sa Spratlys is where the Kalayaan Island Group municipality is located. We have occupied 8 islands. Taiwan has 1. China has 7. Vietnam has 25. Nandun tayo lahat. So yun ang inaayos natin na in the long of time, we hope to oh yes, of course. Pwede tayo.
Lahat. Hindi pwede.
That is, remember that Scarborough, Baho de Masinloc, Panatag. Ano bang gusto nyo?
Scarborough.
Yung Filipino, Calboro.
Tawag nga ng native.
Calboro.
Term dun sa yung area na
Panatag.
inside the triangle. Anong term dun?
Sa loob ng Tatsulok. Lagoon. We call it a lagoon. Inside the lagoon, bawal pa rin.
Kasi
Bawal pa rin.
boxing.
They have been imposing that. We will also impose that.
Sila sir, una
Hmm?
No, you can go in, but you don't fish.
They don't fish.
You don't fish because it's maritime sanctuary. You cannot fish kasi yung sanctuary nga.
You know, alam mo
Pag-uusapan
kung
lang yan.
yung mga bilateral, nagsisimula yan sa desire for unilateral declarations. Or nagsimula ka sa unilateral, mapupunta yan sa bilateral in due time. In due time. No. How do we know? Mayroon tayong
Satellite.
satellite pictures, mayroon tayong reports. Yeah,
Coast Guard.
sort of.
Pero yung how about yung kahit wala sa labuto, hindi
Ano yung mga... Ano yung mga...
yung mga poachers kasi iba na. Kaya
That is constant.
Hindi, bawal na sa batas yun.
That is constant. Like if you get endangered clams, corals.
Taklobo.
Ano yan bawal sa sa site test. 'Di ba? May mga bawal. Pero pangingisda sa labas, let us not even talk about imposing now our will on the neighbor. So, wag mong pipilitin at baka
Sir, parang kailangan nyo i-resolve yun.
Parang kailangan ng tequila dito.
you know, a rose is
Rose.
is as linda as possible.
O sa Russia na tayo.
Your relations could get rocky. Be on the rocks. Okay naman.
O sa Russia na tayo.
Di ba, Peg? Di ba, Peg?
Oh, Russia. Okay, let's move on
Sir, ano
to
po
Russia.
yung sagot ni President Vladimir Putin dun sa
Hindi, bago natin iwanan yung China, nandun pa rin yung ating cooperation on narcotics, anti-drugs, terrorism, transnational crimes. So, mayroon tayong mga... remember na sila ang nagbigay yung ating malaking rehab center.
Galing naman sa kanila yung
Wala
But that
kami
is not to say that
sinasabi,
it is government.
Sabi.
Magkaibang bagay yun kasi may problema din sila sa drugs.
Huwag naman ganun.
Huwag naman ganon.
Huwag naman.
Pero kung gusto
Kaibigan na
mong
nga pag-aawayin.
Huwag naman
gusto mo-
choosy.
Gusto niya yata.
kung gusto mong sabihin na ganon, sa'yo na lang yan.
Sa Russia na. Pero ano po yung sagot ni ni President Putin dun sa anti-US sentiments?
Hindi naman siya anti-US.
Well, definitely, mayroon mga na-express law yan.
Anti-critic.
Ay, medyo...
Hindi, basta yung...
Hindi ko maiwanan.
Hindi kasi first time mag-meet
Basta
si
yung
Presidente tsaka si
Ito talaga, Rocky,
President
nagkataon
Putin.
sila.
So it was merely setting the context of the argument of the President way before. At ine-explain niya lang kay President Putin kung ano yung naging dahilan kung bakit nasabi ni Presidente itong mga yung mga sinabi niya noong mga nakaraan. So,
Pero ano po yung sagot?
Ang sagot ni generally, ang sinabi ni President Putin is that we share your sentiments and your your sentiments and ano sinabi ng word? Hindi na, wala siyang sinabing US.
Hindi, ang...
Ano naman siya sinabi? Hindi, yung
Western.
Hindi sinabi sa Amerika.
No, the Western Hemisphere is
Paano nyo
half
nalaman
of the
na-
globe.
Oh, yeah.
Pero oo, yung exact ano niya, quote niya,
Wala.
share your sentiments.
Our
parang-
merong sinabing our assessments coincide in many respects.
Our assessments go inside.
In many respects.
Respect.
Respects. Ibig sabihin, marespeto sila.
Hindi, pero tsaka may sinabi siya na...
Hindi ba
ano,
respect? Ano ba nakalagay? Respect eh.
May sinabi siya na maganda yung, at least yung...
Lalo na kung respect, hindi
maganda
lalo
yung,
ma-respeto. Plural pa.
parang naging moves ni President Duterte na yung firm siya, yung gano'n. Yung parang may sinabing at least maganda yung naging firm siya at siguro in a way parang hindi na siya apihim, something like that. Diba?
In the future. Hindi naman niya sinabing idol kita. This is not because you're in front of me that I will tell you that I have high respect for you.
And how was the
O, pati nga kami natuwa.
Of course.
Ah. Oh, the president invited, of course, our president to visit. I think very so. Hindi very soon yun, ha? I think very so. Iba yun. You know, ganito na naman ang forma nun, no? Iba naman. 30 minutes, pero successive translation. Oh, so, yung 30 minutes mo, naging 15 na lang. Kaya na-extend sila ng 15.
So, 45 minutes.
Oh. Hindi. I don't know. Parang medyo matagal pa rin.
45.
Ha? Oh, maraming cooperation.
Yun nga, yung,
There was a lot of offer on trade.
Parang na-appreciate niya yung
Agriculture.
Na-appreciate niya yung di ba, yung stance, pagiging firm leader ni President Duterte. Parang in a way pinuri niya na parang dapat lang gano'n, di ba? Parang may respect, may dignity.
What's the reason why SFA is going to Russia? Because of the invitation.
Yeah, I think the secretary is going with Secretary Lorenzana. Ako sana yung pangatlo, pero tapos na kami.
First week of December.
December 3 or something. Nung several respects. In many respects. Kaya nga respectful dahil may plural eh.
Kasama ba dun sa Agrisha yung pambubuli dito?
Well,
Naniniwala ba siyang nambubuli?
Wala namang sinabing gano'n.
Wala naman ganun.
Wala namang gano'n. Hindi naman sinabi. I mean, hindi ganun sagot ni Philippine. Hindi naman niya sinabing, I agree in those words.
Kayo naman, alam nyo naman kung anong kondisyon ng
Huwag na nating,
dalawang.
let's not dwell on those kasi
Oo,
ewan ko.
masyado.
Negosyo na lang.
Lingkong-linggo, tapos ganyan ang mga tanong ninyo.
Nagsimba na kayo, sir.
Nagsimba na kayo. Okay. Linggo. Dinos.
Well, yun din. Sinabi nila, we were talking then of yung mga pwede nilang bilhin from us. So, if I remember right, we were discussing then yung mga agriculture products that they can import. Oo, so very broad, hindi rin specify anong mga produkto. But I understand we supply them also, huge quantity yung banana as our main export. Mangoes. So, obviously, yun yung mas marami. Parang with these kinds of discussions, parang mas open na ngayon yung mga yung mga trading opportunities, more export opportunities. Maliit lang yung Russia sa atin.
We
The
buy
number
more
I
from
remember,
them.
yun nga, $80 million. So imagine that's too small compared to our total $50 billion.
We buy more from them because of
Oh.
oil.
definitely.
BRICS na event na next year. It's going to be held in Russia.
Yes.
Yes.
Russia, di ba? But ito sa China.
Ah, wait, ang nag-imbita kanina, China. China yon. Pero
China.
Russia is kasama doon. Russia is included there. Oo, yun yung invitation kanina sa China, BRICS. Hindi. Russia ang... Hindi. Kasama ang Russia kasi ano yan Brazil, Russia, ano pa ba? India, China.
and ano yun?
China, South Africa.
South Africa.
Sabi niya kasi na President Xi invited President Duterte to the BRICS event in Russia.
In China dapat. Paki-correct na lang, paki-correct.
Ano na magiging pag-asawa niyo?
At
Paguluhan
saka iniimbita doon yung ASEAN Chair of the Year. Kaya since Philippines ang chair,
Yun.
hindi personal. Hindi, syempre, kung sa China, parang looking forward to, you're my friend, come over, di ba? Ganun.
Anong sundot?
Okay?
Wait lang, sir, si President Sambay ba?
Masakit. May sama pakiramdam.
Hindi kasi nung pagpasok ko doon at nakausap ko yung Secretary Yasay. Sabi ni Secretary Yasay sa akin na dito ka na lang umupo katabi ni Mrs. Yasay kasi doon ako upo sa taas kung saan si Presidente naka-assign yung upo dahil nga masama ang pakiramdam.
Nung last meeting that kasama natin yung Presidente, yun yung afternoon, yung sa Pacific Alliance at saka yung Mark Zuckerberg session. So that's the last meeting in that afternoon. Nung natapos yung meeting, binubulong niya na sa amin ni Sec Bong na ang sama pakiramdam niya, baka hindi na ako maka-attend mamaya. So parang hindi nga siya masyadong makasalita nun Oo, so although he was reading yung materials during the meeting with Zuckerberg, pero right after the meeting, yun yung sabi niya. So sabi niya, masama pakiramdam niya, baka hindi na ako maka-attend ng meeting. Hindi naman sinabing
Wala naman
migraine.
Sama ng loob.
Parang, wala naman. Kulang din yung oras hindi rin lahat naka-base. Basta maganda yung discussion naman.
Well, Obama was
Ako
there
hindi
last
ko
night.
alam.
We
Hindi
could
ko-
not determine the direction of the eyes of both. Of course, leaders yan.
Oh, nung first meeting yata, di ba? Wala kami doon.
Wala kami doon.
Leaders lang kasi yung nandun. Oo.
Sir, originally, dun sa dinner dapat pati dito si Pangulo. Kasi si Ate Tita Tita dito yung mga representative.
Between Russia and
Hindi natin alam
Pero
kasi
alam.
nasa dulo si...
no. Pero ano pa yung pay ng isang country?
Hindi kasi usually
Something. Basta katabi nga Russia.
PNG, tama.
usually kasi
Papua New Guinea.
yung arrangement kasi hindi depende yung arrangement pag bago ka lang leader. O doon ka sa medyo malayo o tapos yung mga matagal na pagkita. Pag may talagang pa-exit ka na, malaglag ka na doon sa dulo.
Mayroong method yun.
May method sila. Pero the method is if you're a new leader, doon ka sa
Ano? Yung mga napag-usapan sa Russia, trade and economy, alam mo, hindi ko naramdaman. No, because it was a go. So, ang usapan namin is itong biyaheng ito. So,
Supreme Court na decide.
whether, ako din naman tinitignan ko, may nobena pa So, that's a purely,
Okay na ako? Isip
I mean, the matter of entering your father or your parent was left to the family, and when they decided, balikan mo yung sinabi ni General Resty Padilla Jr. Sinabi niya na we were notified at 5 o'clock, then so we prepared. Hindi ko pala na-check yun kung 5 o'clock hindi.
Oo.
Sir, ito nakatanong po, because there are still rallies and parang demonstrations and protests, do you see any possible threat, security threat with this continuing rally?
I would rather look at it as an expression, democratic expression of sentiments and beliefs. So magkakaroon ng rally yan. I would expect, just like what happened, there was a rally at the People's Power Monument na umabot ng 2,000, then right on that night, nag-decide na mag-call off. The following day, mayroon namang dumisita ulit yung pamilya Marcos sa libingan at may mga supporters din nandun na umuwi din pagkatapos. You would expect na mayroong kanya-kanyang plano as a matter of democratic advocacy. So, nandiyan pa rin yung issue. So, but as a threat, I would like to think that everything has been done in due process. May legal decision,
Supreme Court.
may Supreme Court decision pa, ipinaubayan ng presidente doon ng ang decision. And when there was a decision, they simply entered the former president.
So the government, especially the security cluster, will not take any steps or anything?
If we have to, we will. But security cluster as it is, we always, it doesn't disappear from our horizon.
You're referring to the ASEAN East Asia meeting, ASEAN-US meeting. I skipped that, and then now the gala. Hindi naman, it's just I no, really, no. Everyone was there. The leaders who were supposed to attend, they were there. Yeah. Sa palagay ko, masama ang pakiramdam, pagod. Jet lag. Kung tayo nga na jet lag at this